Again, my name is Gabe Zollner. You know another crazy program that our military demands and expects of our military to follow when they're in country? Well, they've established rules of engagement. I believe Secretary of State Hillary Clinton was involved in that as well. I'm not certain, but I recall reading something about that. And what that really means is that our military cannot fire on anyone until they're fired upon. So what that really means is that our military has to be prepared to sacrifice some of their members before they can return fire. And the reason that is that these bad guys that are looking to kill our military, you know, they'll drop a bead on one of them, they'll pull a trigger, or they'll let go an RPG. Probably has a stamp on it, made in America. And then once they release that weapon or that RPG, after it does its damage, then our military can return fire. Now, is that crazy? Is there any wonder that there's such a high rate of suicide of our military? They understand that they're being put into positions that won't allow them to win. They're expected to leave their protective vehicles and walk the streets, knowing that there's improvised explosive devices pretty much everywhere. You know, our government spent, or our taxpayers spent hundreds of millions of dollars designing vehicles where the hulls are shaped like a boat. So when an IED goes off, it disperses the explosion and it results in a much greater number of survivors. While when you're walking in a field and you step on one of these, there's no hull to protect you. No, you're disintegrated. And anyone in the proximity is probably wounded, if not killed. To expect our military to not fire when they're in a combat zone until they're fired upon is completely crazy. But it is what it is, and I'm sure it explains why there's so many of our military men and women committing suicide. They're put into positions that they know are totally insane, and there's nothing that they can do about it other than to kill themselves so they're no longer suffering in agony based on what they're ordered to do. How crazy is it, any of this? How many of our military in Afghanistan are being and have been killed by insurgents that our military, the British and the French, trained in Jordan? How many of our military are being killed with weapons that our military provides to the insurgents? I have absolutely no doubt that all of the people that were killed in Benghazi on 9/11/2012 were killed with weapons that had "Made in America" stamped on them. And I have also little doubt that the insurgents were trained by our military. How crazy is all of this? I mean, if you read this play in a book, you could not believe that it's for real. This would have to be a book of total fiction written by someone that's insane, because no normal person could put together the events that are taking place throughout the Middle East and throughout our country right now. And it's all being driven by this psychopath, this narcissistic psychopath that is destroying not only America, but possibly the entire world by putting the entire world on full alert. You think Russia is going to sit back and just watch Assad get whacked? You think China is going to sit back and watch Assad in Syria get whacked? They won't. Yeah, Vietnam, all over, but on a much larger scale. The world, I believe, is in peril. Not just the United States, but the world. And it's all driven by this madman in Washington. And no one is there to stop him. Absolutely no one.